What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, Sweetie? I've been working on this thing for like the last 50 minutes trying to go live, and it wasn't working. Finally got it to work. Anyway, so you can see from the title, today we're going to be discussing milk. Now, if as a man you think a guy putting on his gloves, putting some lube on them, then you turn around and grab the table is a bit off-putting, a bit extreme. Wait till you hear what I have to say. First of all, welcome to the channel. Um, my name is KJ. Today we're going to be talking about men's health, and I'm going to just jump right into it. Give you a rundown of why I'm talking about it, and what happened, what I did afterwards, and any signs and symptoms that I might have had that somebody else might have that you might have yourself, maybe a friend. Share the video, like it, comment, have anything to ask, obviously, and make sure you subscribe. Okay. So a few months ago, roughly, I would say the beginning of June, late May, right after Memorial Day, um, I had an experience where I noticed for like a week or so, my urine looked darker than what I was used to. Right. Not only it looked darker, it looked foamy. Now, darker urine is usually when there's more waste being produced and it's being expelled out of the body, which is what, I thought. And okay, I was like, that's natural. But then the foam kind of looked not like detergent foam, but sort of bubbly. That's usually from a strong stream, which is also not uncommon for me. So I'm like, all right, maybe, I did some drinking over the Memorial Day weekend. I had a friend fly over from Texas. We had a good time. We drank a lot. The week after my daughter's birthday, I went out again. Another friend of mine. So, I'm getting older. This is not 20 something year old me. Go out, drink all night, come home, go straight to school or to work. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'm older. My body's acting differently. Anyhow, I didn't do anything about it. That was my first mistake. So it continued, right? Steadily, it's dark, it's foamy. I'm like, all right. So I started taking about a 14-ounce glass of water in the morning with half a lemon and a little bit of baking soda. Let me just clarify, this is not medical advice. I'm not a medical professional. This is just something that I heard about that would help clear it up. Right. So I did that in the morning, and I did it at night about 8, 9 o'clock at night from Eastern time, obviously. Um, Nothing changed, right? Also, about that time, I was working on a couple projects. As some of you might know that have watched my channel before, I do custom shoes. So when I'm doing that, I'm usually pretty focused on it, and I like to complete it. Sometimes it takes longer than others. This workstation here is where I do most of my work, like for YouTube, for shoes. I also work in my room. I have a really small desk in my room, but it's fine for working on shoes. I was working on about two pairs of shoes. I was working on a pair of fives and I think a pair of sixes. I was restoring the sixes and I was doing a custom job on the fives. So it was taking some time because I work alone. I don't have anybody else working. When I'm working on sneakers, I tend to drink a lot of coffee, like when I used to be at my regular job. By the way, which I don't work anymore, this is what kind of supports me. So when I'm doing it, I pretty much am into it, whether it takes the whole weekend, whether it takes 3 days, 4 days, whatever the case is. Big issue with that is those days I used to drink more coffee than water. So I would have maybe 6 cups of coffee a day, right? And maybe 3 cups of water. So I was drinking twice as much coffee as I was drinking water. Big mistake, right? Duh. But I'm not thinking about it like that. I'm like, I'm drinking this healthy water in the morning. I have a couple of cups during the day, and I drink this healthy water again at night. So, I'm good. About the 23rd, 22nd, early in the 20s in June, about, let's say, 5 days before the 27th. And I'll tell you why that date is important after. About 5 days before 27th, my urine starts looking like, if you have a cup of water, you put it into a big jar, you add some red wine and a little bit of coffee. That's what my urine started looking like. At that point, I mean, it just came all of a sudden. I was saying it was dark. Yeah, it was dark, consistently was foamy, but darker urine is still yellow, like a darker yellow. Now we're talking about a completely different color. I'm like, what is this? And now I'm starting to panic. So I'm like, all right, I really need to hydrate properly. I need to, pick up on the water. I need to pick up on the lemon and baking soda. No, all right. So about 4 days. I think it was 4 days if I remember correctly. By the 27th, it's darker. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to the emergency room. Go to the emergency room. Had to wait, obviously. Finally get seen. Doctor says, when they finally got the labs back, it's like you have blood and protein in your urine. Now, here's the thing about doctors, right? They can only go based on what they see and, of course, what you tell them. So obviously, they're looking for a family history. If you have any problems with your kidneys, your prostate, sickle cell, um, any issues with incontinence, what did you consume, um, medication overdoses, things like that, right? Medication overdose or abuse. That's what they're looking for. I haven't been on any medication for a long time. So I'm like, no, I don't think it's that. I was on medication for a long time. Explained to the doctor about my car accident. I was on medication for years. And he's like, well, could be possible damage to your kidneys from, long-term medication use, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like, so he's like, just gonna put you on some IVs. They're gonna help, to clean you out, clear you out. It has like antibacterials in it. It's like you don't have an infection. But just out of an abundance of caution, they're gonna put me on these 2 IVs. So I got on 2 IVs. I'm in the ER for about 7 hours. All right. I get out. I went just after 5. I get out. It is about 12:38, something like that, at night. 12:38 a.m. So I went 5:15 p.m. I get up to like 12:38 something. I get home. It's like after 1. So I get home. I go to the bathroom. Then it's fine. I'm like, all right. Well, I don't know what it was, what caused it, but now I got to figure out what am I going to do now because it already happened. It went from bad to worse, so now I got to follow up. Over the next few days, it's clean. Then, next thing you know, back to the same thing. During those few days, I got a text from the hospital saying to follow up with your primary care. I make an appointment, go see the doctor, give a urine sample, same thing. Diagnosis, by the way, is called gross hematuria. So hematuria is when you have small, amounts of blood in your urine, and that can be from different things. Um, you have sickle cell or even the trait, that could be a cause. Um, bladder cancer, that's one that they're always worried about. Prostate cancer is another one. Kidney cancers. And I'm saying the cancers first because that's what they did to me. That shit, like, it really scares you when they start saying those things. But it could be other simpler stuff. You know what I mean? It could be kidney stone, which is not pleasant. Obviously, if you have to tap it out on your own. It could be a cyst on your kidneys. It could be heavy exercise. Like, I know you see guys that make videos on YouTube, right? They do these, um, even calisthenics. If you go hard, with chest building, the different people, everybody can't do the same thing. Let me just put it that way. Like, yeah, it's important to stay in shape physically, but your inside is actually more important than your outside. I know that sounds crazy coming from me. Obviously, if you're morbidly obese, it's called morbidly obese for a reason, right? Morbid being death. So it'll bring death about because of you being morbidly obese. Sorry. So I go see the physician. Obviously, I keep my appointments. He tells me to follow up with nephrology. And those are the guys that are going to worry about my kidneys, right? So the kidneys for the bladder, they're going to try to figure out if that's it. This appointment I have virtually. I thought it was kind of crazy at first, but then I speak to the guy, and he's like, well, you have a special trait. It could be that. Have you been exercising heavy? And I was like, well, yeah, because I explained to him, I had a couple of events that I went to, I drank a whole bunch. So you're not actually drink all those empty calories. You got to burn it out, So going hard, I was, I have a workout bench. I have free weights that I use. So yeah, I was, heavy on the push-ups. Um, 40 minutes of walking, in the park, which is just like 2 blocks away from my home. So yeah, I was trying to stay in shape. He's like, all right, you need to ease up on that for a while, but I'm going to refer you to urology. He's like, there's a procedure um, that they're going to do, and he's going to tell you in advance that it's not the most comfortable procedure, but it will pretty much be definitive if there's anything up in there, they'll be able to see it and let you know. I get a call from the urology nurse to explain what this procedure is. I remember what I said. Strange man with gloves on, putting a lube on his hand, telling you to turn around, grab the desk, drop your pants. Well, that's the gastro doctor, right? If you have any kind of gastro issues, GERD, um, you know, digestive issues, this is one of the first things they do, right? I had that maybe, I would say, a good 10 years ago. I was getting acid reflux. I was working nights, eating heavy, you know, and your body's not built to, I guess, your biological, not your biological clock, but your biology basically as a person is when it gets to be nighttime, chemicals start flowing in your brain. That sooner or later you need to go to bed. Well, when you start working nights, you're forcing it to do the opposite. So you work nights and then you go to sleep during the day. So obviously, if you're working at night, you have to eat something. Making a mistake of eating, a lot of food, coming home, not having breakfast, going straight to sleep, waking up later in the day, eating, and it was just a whole mess, right? I worked nights for years, you know what I mean? So I had it several years ago, so I know that's the test that the gastro doctor does. Experienced it firsthand. It was not pleasant, but I came out of it, good. I had he did that test, and he also scoped me. So he did endoscopy. You go to their practice. You're in something like a surgical room, small version. They put you to sleep and they scope you. So they scope you like this, through your mouth, down your trachea, all the way down into your gut, check everything out. So I had that done. It was clean. Took medication for a while. few months, 3 months, something like that. And I was good. This procedure, the nurse explains to me, is they're going to grab your Johnson. And they're going to push a camera that I shit you not, it's like this long, right? From from the time I looked at it, she said it over the phone, but when I saw it in person, I was like, oh. Now push this camera down your Johnson all the way into your bladder, then back up into your prostate. I wasn't ready. I thought I was ready. I could be cool. I mean, I was cool about it as possible as could be because it was a procedure that I needed to have. Because again, that's why I'm having this talk. It's important to your health, right? Especially if you have those kind of symptoms. Now, in certain people, yeah, you might see blood in your urine if it's a small amount and then it goes away. I wouldn't say that you shouldn't be concerned, but if you have certain conditions like sickle cell trait, sickle cell anemia, if you've been working out, heavy weights, the heavy weights break down muscle and the protein in the blood that's how it ends up there. You know what I mean? So there's different reasons why it could happen. I would just say if it gets there, that you seek out a physician ASAP. Don't even wait. Furthermore, don't even allow it to happen. Drink plenty of water. And I know, people that work a lot, you're more concerned about work and relationships a lot of times more than your own health. But trust me, what I had to go through, and I mean, it's not even over yet, right? Because the I had the procedure done. So let me backtrack a little bit. First of all, you're in this little operating theater. Is the nurse, the physician, and his resident. The resident in this case is an Asian female. Bruh. So there's this chick over there looking like Maggie Q with a mask on. She's standing back though, because the nurse is on one side, the physician is on the other side. This nurse, so I take the gown and put it on. I'm naked from the waist down. I have the gown. I lay down on the operating chair or bed or whatever. Yeah, I lay down. Pulls it up. He cleans the head with iodine, right? The head or the shaft iodine. Takes a big tube, right, like a needle. No needle at the edge though. It's just some type of liquid in it. It's like this is lidocaine. You're gonna put this in there so that you don't feel it when you put the camera. So first of all, they pump you Johnson full of lidocaine, right? And it does burn. I'm not gonna lie, it burns. It doesn't burn like you know the one chip challenge kind of burn, which I have not done, but I heard is terrible. So it does burn, but it's a bearable burn. You know what I mean? I've been through stuff before. I've been in car accidents and the like. So my body has taken its fair share. So hit by a motorcycle, I fell off bikes. So you know, I know pain. I'm no stranger to it. So bearable burn. So I'm waiting. Johnson hanging out, naked from the bottom down. Nurse is there with me trying to talk me through different things and asking me what I do, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, I'm not talk right now, but I'm talking to him. Doctor finally comes in. He's like, oh, such and such. The girl. First of all, I'd already met the girl and she interviewed me, the resident. So if she don't even introduce herself, she's like standing back and the person comes right next to me. Yo, right after he introduces himself and says what he's gonna do, he just grabs it and little pressure, puts the camera in. I'm like, you. And then up on the screen, right to my left, I can see where it's going, looking in the bladder. So a little bit uncomfortable. Then he's like, let's check out the prostate. Goes, turn the camera inside of you. So he's turning this thing and going to the prostate. He's like, oh, yeah, you got a big prostate. He's like, looks fine though. No problem. Yo, when he took that trip, I was like, ooh. But you know, you're laying down, you can't move. This is the procedure. This is what you have to have done. So let me just, and I'm sorry about the noise, but it's hot today. I had my window open. I would have had it closed because I have the fan on, but it's not even working right now. Let me just show you. So this is my phone. Okay, take this down a little bit so you can see. Okay, this is my phone. Is that better? Yeah. This app right there. I'm gonna open it so I can show you. Right. This one. This is my chart. Epic. I'm gonna sign in because sometimes people come talk about stuff online and they full of it. They're not keeping it 100 with people. So let me just show you real quick a list of my appointments. You can see that this is my chart month 3. See that appointment on the 22nd that's canceled? I'm going to scroll up so you can see the other one. You see that other one for the 22nd? Right below it? You see what it says? 22nd procedure visit. Right. The one above it is canceled because that was for a different position. And I couldn't do the two in the same day. So just show you what it says. Let me just open it. I'm gonna move my personal information up. So, so it says here, hold on, change the view. See it better. So it says at the top, yeah, visit for gross material. It says today's visit. All right. So this is a visit that I actually went to, and let me just show you. Um, so up here, see that what it says? September 3rd CT scan. So that's coming up. All right. So this is something that I actually went through. Obviously, I was in no position to film it. I mean, if I had went with somebody, if it was one of these procedures where, like you don't have to be butt naked to do, I have considered, probably some of it, but it wasn't that kind of party. So I had that done. Thankfully, it was clean. The doctor, he seemed surprised. I mean, when he looked around in there, he was like, "Oh, it looks good." So pulled it out. You know, they pulled it out. He was like, "Well, this is a good sign. Um, there's no indication of anything for us to worry about, but I will ask you to get a CT scan of, all of this. So that means kidneys, bladder, prostate, everything. So a full, nice picture. Mind you, I already did the ultrasound of my kidneys and my bladder. Excuse me. But out of abundance of caution, I'm going to do this procedure as well. Why am I saying all this? Why am I telling you all this? Listen, I don't care how hard you work and what relationship you're trying to get in, your health comes first. I know some people are so busy chasing money, they don't even think about their health. You know what I mean? A lot of us, we came up in pretty I wouldn't say bad situations, but health was not a thing that you put first, right? As a kid, your parents were the one that took care of your health. As a teenager, you're going to take care of your health. You know what I mean? You was too busy hanging out, having fun, having a good time. As you get older, though, it's time to more or less take it serious. Not just take it seriously, but as a priority, right? So eating properly, exercise, all that stuff is important. You know what I mean? Even sleep, and this is one area that I wanted to go on sunglasses. I'll be honest with you, because I did not sleep well last night, as opposed to the night before. Went to bed early. I went to bed so early. I was up at 4:48 a.m. Eastern time. I must have went to bed like after 10. Woke up mad early. I could have went out, done anything I wanted, even made this video. It's just that it was mad dark, and I was kind of out of it when I woke up because I had planned to be up at 6 and get up at 4:48. I'm like, why am I up? Anyway, I went back to sleep. But it was, I say all that to say this. It was a crazy experience for me to go through. I really did not like it. You know how we are, men in general. I don't know if it's just black men or men in general, but you know how we are. We don't, anything where we gotta get naked and, you know, have stuff pushed in us, poke prodded. We don't like that stuff. But sometimes, as much as you take care of yourself, there are things that innately will happen to you as a man, right? So this is not an issue that women have to worry about. You don't have to worry about having your prostate checked, women. But if you have your husband, your boyfriend, your brother, whatever, they have a history of issues with the kidney, prostate, bladder, whatever in the family, definitely time to go get checked out. Before the problem even arises, and make sure you hydrate properly. Make sure you, every week, you have a proper meal, a meal that's properly balanced. So, me, for example, I don't eat any shellfish anymore. I only eat fish. So, fish with scales is the only fish I eat. Might dabble in sardines every now and again. Um, Beef, goat, that's it. So, fish, sardines, beef, goat, that's it. No shrimp, no lobster, no crab, no octopus, none of that stuff. I used to eat it. I'll be honest with you, I used to eat it. I stopped eating shrimp and right because my physician at the time, I had just had my accident previously. She said, "Listen, all the shrimp that you're eating, I'm looking at your blood pressure and your cholesterol. Both are high, and if you eat a lot of shrimp, that could be the cause." I was like, "What?" So yeah, I've been off of that for a while. Once I stopped eating shrimp, it was like nothing to like stop eating lobster, crab, all that other stuff. I just threw it out the window, right? So, as I said, your health is important. Those things that I went through, it was no picnic for me, right? But I had to go through it. My urine has been clear for, I would say, just over 2 weeks. So it was like back and forth. In July, which happens to be my birthday month. But I did two things that I think have given me good results. I'm confident they have. One thing was prayer, right? There's nothing more powerful than prayer, right? I don't know what it was that was causing it. During July, I actually had small clots when I went to the bathroom, so little blood clots. I thought it was a stone, you know. up to this point, I still feel like it's a stone. I don't know how the ultrasound missed it. I guess it could have been if it was small enough. That could have been the issue. So I also, on the 7th, I believe, or the morning of the 8th, I had read online that a large glass with a full tablespoon of baking soda is good, and it also fends off infection. And I'm like, the glass could be, some type of infection. So I have this glass, the same glass that you see people using when they are drinking alcohol. One of those big red cups. I have one